Hello friends, in this particular video you are going to see SQL command for Postgres executed in terminal. You must have seen when you have installed Postgres server, it talks about a default user which is basically a super user that is called Postgres. So today I will be exploring this particular user, its functionalities and what it can do in context to wide range of SQL commands. So first thing first is that I will be checking which particular version of PostgreSQL is installed in my system, and here it comes. I'm using 16.8 version, latest version 18.4 is already available. So as I said that when you install the Postgres, you have seen that the default user, which is basically a super user, is called Postgres, has been available. We will be using that super user to connect to the terminal, and the super user has a privilege of creating other users. So provide the command psql space -u in uppercase refers to the super user, and then the name of the super user is called Postgres, and I hit the enter. As I do that, it will ask you to enter the password, and then eventually you are connected to a database called Postgres. So this is what the database is. So yes, there are two things involved. One is the username, which is the Postgres as a super user, and then another thing that is called database by the same name. Okay, first thing first, since Postgres is providing us one super user, the question is, can't I create a user for my application? Of course you can, and for that reason we have a command called create user. And what is the username? That is called tester. I have given, you can give whatever username you feel like, with password, and within code I have given the password, following the password. I hit the enter, and the user got created. Well, after the user has been successfully created, we can give /du to see who are the user available at this point of time. Well, I already said that Postgres comes up with a default user called Postgres super user. Plus, I also have another user being created that's called developer, and in front of you just now I created another user that is called tester. So all total there are 3 users available. Fine. So what this particular tester would do? Well, our Postgres super user will create a database, and it will allocate the full authority of that database to the user called tester. So create database. Remember, who is creating this? This is super user. Super user is creating the database. So create database. The name of the database I have given as tester_db. You are free to choose whatever name you feel better. And who is going to own this particular table? That is called tester. Right. I hit the enter now, and the moment I do that, the database will be created. Okay, so far so good. Now I can even show you the list of all the databases that exist. Well, if I go with /l, you hit the enter, here I would see different databases that is there in my system. And just now I created the database called tester_db, just now created that, what you are seeing right over here. Okay, and it has been allocated to the user tester, and these are the all super user tables. I mean, the super user is using these tables, and the developer is also using couple of tables. Okay, I mean couple of databases, sorry, my mistake. These are all databases. Okay, so it shows you the long listing. Now what you would be doing? Well, what you can do is that you can quit, and then the rest of the part will be continued by the user. That's great. So let's /q, and I quit. Let me clear the screen, and now I log in as the user which just now got created, and that is called tester, and the tester is going to use the following database that is called tester_db. I hit the enter, and now you see that is showing you the prompt. The prompt isn't representing the database, so whatever you do right now will be reflected on that given database. Okay, sound interesting, isn't it? Now I will be creating a table. The first thing that I can do is to create the table. So I select this. I want to show you what the table is all about. I'm creating a table called the user, and it will have one primary key, that is ID, which is going to be auto incremented. So I will not give any value for this one. I have to provide value for a username, which is varchar, email, password, and then comes a very important constraint. The attribute name is called role, and the constraint is check constraint. So what I am saying is that the following attribute role will be allowed to include any one of these 3 role type. That can be the buyer, that can be sailor, or can be admin. nothing outside these three roles, and that is what the check constraint is. So the role attribute has to follow any one of these three type of role. Okay, and finally we have created that, and it's going to be current timestamp. So this particular field also I need not have to give any value. So basically ID and the created at, these two I don't need. Rest of the four I have to give, and there is a constraint as well which you saw just now, that is role. So now let's add 4 record, and all these 4 records will be given simultaneously here. Right, let's look at it. So as I said, ID and created will be left off. So for that reason we have user, email, password and role, and this is going to be the first tuple, meaning first user, second tuple, second user, third tuple, third user, and the fourth tuple, fourth user, and they all belongs to a particular role type. Since all these 4 tuples are given at the same time, so they are going to have the same timestamp. You will see that, no worries. So for that reason, to identify it, I have kept a couple of more rows separate. So let me copy this, let me put over here, and let's run the code. Great. So now if I go with select star from users, we will be seeing 2 different set of timestamps. So see over here, these 4 are having the same timestamp because we passed them all at the same time, and this is the last timestamp that has been passed this particular record separately. Well, I would be going for one more insertion, and that is called Timmy. So let me fire this and let me hit enter, and let's now go with select star, and we will be seeing another new timestamp for the last row that is inserted. Great. So we are all done with these 6 tuples that we have inserted for the user table, and after this, the next video is going to provide you a profound 25 SQL queries that I am going to describe. Will be covering all these SQLs one by one in detail. Make sure you watch that particular video so that you have sound knowledge context to SQL queries. Okay, before I leave, what I will be doing is that I would prefer to show you one more thing. That is, we all worked with this particular user on this particular database perfectly fine, but due to some reason you might have to drop the user, you have to drop the database as well as its details. So what should you do? Well, in that case, the first thing is that you have to terminate, you have to log in as a super user. So let me quit from here, /q, hit the enter. Great, let me clear the screen. So we all saw that there are 3 tables were, 3 databases were there. Sorry, 3 users were there. Okay, let me show you once again those users, then it'll be good for you to understand. So let me connect to the database, and here it comes. So psql user type, you as user, and I hit the enter. So now if I go for /d, I want to see the user, right? So /du, it will show you that we have got 3 users. I was referring to this particular user just now, so I would be deleting this. So for that reason, what we will do is that we will revoke all the schema that this particular user tester has been utilizing in the form of table, and which we just now did 6 instances we added for the table user for the given database called test_db, right? So revoke all on schema public for tester. So that means all what the user has did, everything will be revoked off. Well, this particular command is enough to revoke all the permission. But once in a while, if you have distributed this particular user information in some other table or involved with other tables or database, then we might have to work on these 2 commands separately. But all means usage and created will be considered together. But still, these 2 commands are also there. So now I will be deleting the database first. So first I will delete the database, and the database is gone. Great. And now I'm going to delete the user. So first we deleted the database, and once we have done that, we will delete the user. I believe after deleting the user, if I go for /du, I will just left back with 2 users only. Okay, I hope you understood how we created the database, how we created the user, how we created the table, how we assign the instances to the table, and then even we saw all the steps that required to delete the user database as well as all its informations. Okay, I hope this particular video would be handy for you all. Make sure in the next video I'll be talking about the 25 queries. They are very interesting. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.